are the tonic nervines. Nervines that strengthen the system, support the brain, help heal damaged nerves. Now, it's very difficult to explain what's going on there pharmacologically and phytochemically, so I'm just going to stick with the traditional explanations here. Even though we can't necessarily explain mechanisms, from my clinical observation, they work. They really do work. They're very, very important. The most important one is oats, Avena sativa. And putting it very crudely, one of the big advantages here is that it doesn't matter how much porridge you eat, you don't get stoned. So we have something that works on the nervous system without necessarily relaxing or stimulating the person. Oats can be antidepressant. They can do all sorts of things in particular extreme needs, but the best use for oats is as a supportive matrix, herbal matrix for the nervous system, to which you add other nervines. It's the nervine glue that holds everything together. Really, really important herb. We then have relaxing nervines, which are herbs which work on the nervous system and tend to lead to some variety of relaxation, whether it be a psychological state of ease or muscle relaxation. And we actually have hundreds of them from a planetary perspective. From North American, European perspective, I could list 50 or 60. That might seem like far too many. You just need a relaxing remedy. But the issue with nervines is that first we have a spectrum of strength. There are very mild ones, there are very strong ones, and it's not always appropriate to use the strongest. So let me give you a scale. An example of a mild nervine would be chamomile. However, there are much milder ones than that. For children, red clover is an effective relaxing remedy. It doesn't do much for adults, but it does for young children. And there are lots in between. So going back to chamomile, we can get much stronger than chamomile. We could think about linden as the next one up in strength, as an example. Moving up to skullcap and motherwort as very effective relaxing remedies, but not necessarily knockout drugs. We can then get stronger again, and we can move up to herbs like valerian, like hops, like kava kava, which at high dosage are going to be another action, the action of hypnotic, something which will put you to sleep. And then you can get much stronger than that into herbs, most of which are now illegal, not because they're bad, dangerous herbs, but because they're basically owned by the pharmaceutical industry. And that's moving us into politics, so we'll leave that alone. A good example there is the opium poppy. And actually the opium poppy is a really good example of multiple actions in a herb. It's got this reputation as this dangerous, addictive painkiller. However, it's one of the best remedies for stopping acute coughing, where, say, the coughing is keeping somebody awake at night and they're getting worse and worse every day because they're not sleeping. It will stop acute diarrhea. Does a whole range of different things. When it's used as a painkiller or a herb of abuse, whatever that means, by emphasizing the nervine effects, it's very easy to get constipated. It's very easy to start negatively impacting respiration because you're inhibiting a cough that is naturally there. So there are challenges to using it. But the point is, we have the spectrum of relaxing nervines. So the first choice the clinician has when it comes to nervines is how strong to be. Obviously with children, you stay at the mild end. But with adults, don't automatically go to the strong end. Try gentler ones first. But that doesn't give us enough to go on. There is another area of selection. What other properties, what other actions does the plant have? So, for example, valerian is a very good carminative. Tastes disgusting, but the oils that give it that unpleasant taste are actually effective carminative oils. So that will help the whole digestive process. It's also a reasonably good muscle relaxant. So if you're trying to help somebody relax whose stress, anxiety gives them abdominal symptoms, valerian's very useful. Or if they have restless leg, or those sorts of muscle spasm symptoms, valerian is very useful. But then hops, which is also a relaxing nervine, also a muscle relaxant, and in a slightly different way a carminative. Why not use hops instead of valerian? The big advantage of hops is that in addition to those actions I just mentioned, it's a very effective digestive bitter. So if you've decided you want to use bitter stimulation as part of the therapeutic approach, but you also need to relax them, then maybe hops is the right one to use. So hopefully I'm giving an idea here of what initially is complexity, but actually is a wonderfully complex support network of all the herbs fitting together. If you want a strong relaxing remedy that is probably the most effective all-round muscle relaxant we have, kava is going to be better than valerian. So many, many options. Skullcap, I consider it to be specific for the psychological side of PMS. What's it called now? Premenstrual dysphoric syndrome. It doesn't do anything about the water retention or any skin problems, but for the psychological changes, it works very, very well. Now, motherwort, which is an equivalent strength relaxer, doesn't do that, but it has a wonderful property of normalizing rapid heartbeat. In fact, the Latin name of the plant gives us a clue about this. So the Linnaean binomials were largely created by doctors trying to communicate with each other from the time when European medicine was based on herbal medicine. So the Latin name of motherwort, Leonurus cardiaca, that cardiac part was the old timers telling each other what they thought the plant's affinity was. So if, say, you have a woman who gets panic attacks associated with menopausal changes, those panic attacks can often be characterized or initiated by a very rapid heartbeat, which can be really scary, especially if it wakes you up, and then it will trigger off the full-blown panic attack. You can control or minimize or even stop the tachycardia part of that by using motherwort. And because you don't have the initial rapid heartbeat, there's less of an intensity of the panic attack as a whole. Now, skullcap won't do that. Skullcap will help relax the person but not stop the tachycardia. So in choosing amongst the 100 or so relaxing nervines, all of which relax, you choose the right one based on the age of the person, the constitution of the person, and what other things you want to do with the person.